Next! Ah! Give me! Give it to me!
The continent looking for you. Hard woman to track down.
Give it all to me!
Well, you found me.
Ms. Croft, I hear when it comes to
Caves, dude. Caves, dude. The bear, dude.
this isn't about glory or money or making the world a better place.
Oh, new
It's
puzzles.
a puzzle
That's what I said.
buried in centuries of silence.
Still Lost
You don't
Valley.
expect
That's
someone
Lost Valley.
walks past a locked door without wondering what's behind it.
Vilka? City of Vilka
There's a
combo?
reason I can only trust you with this.
Natla. Human enemies? The bald guy? That looks so... Whoa! My god, that was so sick. Ah, I'm getting goosebumps. Panthers.
Gotta say, I captured your good side.
Oh my god, they did the throwback. What's a man gotta do to get that?
You're assuming I've got a bad side.
What's a man gotta do to get that kind of attention from you? Hey everyone, it's present day Kelly, and it has been about a day since we got the latest trailer release for Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis. And while my reaction is at the beginning of this video, I figured I would tie in a bit of a breakdown of this trailer, which I actually did not do during the Game Awards reveal of Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis, as well as Catalyst. If you guys want to see something like that for the other trailer, I can certainly do that. But I figured that with this trailer, we got a lot more detail as to what we can expect from this game. Obviously, I think there's a bit more reveal as far as levels are concerned. We get some character drops in this trailer as well. So I figured I would just go from the beginning to the end and just kind of break down, not necessarily frame by frame, but section by section, just point out some key elements and kind of really dissect this trailer as best as I can. But you guys know I'm a massive Tomb Raider fan, and you know, I've already watched this trailer quite a few times, as well as the first one that they revealed during the Game Awards. If you guys want to see my reaction to that, it is on the channel. Without further ado, let's get right into it. This is the State of Play June 2026 Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis trailer. About 2 minutes, so let's get it going.
Been halfway across the continent looking for
Yeah.
you.
So right off the rip here, obviously, this is showcasing, I would assume, the very beginning of the game as we venture forth with our guide, who is not present at the moment, but the very beginning of the first Tomb Raider that leads us to the level we know as the caves. Obviously, this is the Peru section with the mountains and the environment and the snow and everything, and just at face value right here, there's just so much depth and beauty with these assets and these environments. I'm super excited to just see how they tell the story of the original game using modern day graphics and modern day gameplay. Obviously, we got that with the anniversary years ago, but I think I'm just gonna say it, man. I can already just kind of get a feeling. I think this is gonna be a lot better and a lot more immersive than Anniversary. This is probably my most anticipated game of 2027, now that we know that it is coming out in 2027. So, but yeah, let's back it up just a little bit and see. Yeah, so we got ourselves a little bit of a Sphinx. I'm gonna play this from the beginning.
Been halfway across
Looks
the
like this, real quick. I just want to touch base on this. I'm gonna assume that this is still the Lost Valley area, and we have the waterfall that possibly blocks the entrance to the Tomb of Qualapec. Again, based on both trailers, I think they've done insane work, absolutely insane work on just how vast Lost Valley is and just the attention to detail on just how big this world is once you open up beyond those first 2 levels with caves and the city of Vilcacamba. We have the waterfall, we have all the foliage, we have the mountains, we have all the outdoor detail. But this is looking like the waterfall that is blocking the entrance to the Tomb of Qualopec, the last level of the Peru section of the game.
Been halfway across the continent.
And this right here, obviously Egypt, in Egypt section, this could be the first level of the Egypt section, city of Kamun, city of Hamun. I'm not quite sure how it's pronounced. Most people say Kamun. I've said Hamun in the past, but at the very beginning of the city of Kamun, we'll just say Kamun, there is a sphinx structure that leads further into the level. And I do believe, based on the detail and based on the surroundings, this could very well be the beginning of the Egypt level, or the Egypt section. I'm just not entirely sure.
For you.
And then of course we're back to caves.
Hard woman to track down.
Okay. So yeah, right off the rip here, we are getting vast Peru, massive mountains, frigid, cold. And I love that they added the detail that they didn't just kind of just scale this mountain. They actually came through what appears to be a tunnel system that leads across this bridge and towards the entrance to the beginning of the Peru section.
Back down.
And of course, she's ferried by her guide. I assume that's the same guide that we see, get attacked at the very beginning of the game in the first opening cutscene by the wolves, and then Lara has to venture on by herself.
Well, you found me.
Ms. Croft, I hear when it comes to retrieval, Ms. Croft.
Getting some of that early Crystal Dynamics movement with how she traverses, how she uses her skill in acrobatics and her gymnastic, her very gymnastic background, doing all those flips and those rotations and stuff like that. But as we can see, what appears to be a section, I assume, of the caves, and I love how they make this level just so much bigger. They really showcase just how big this cavern structure is, because obviously, at the very, back in 1996 with the first game, some of the sections were quite closed off, but this is just a great adaptation of that first section, just showing how deep these caves go. Especially, you always want, you wonder what's over there and what's down in the pit and that sort of thing. So, and you can kind of make out that there was a bit of a battle here. We see some what looks like arrow tips. There's a lot of history. There's a lot of history in this section. So yeah, no, there's a little bit more detail than just just this rocky terrain and these platforming sections. So
Ms. Croft, I hear when it
finessing through the arrows, one of the first obstacles of the game. And here we go. We get our first look. Oh, sorry, I went a little too far there. And then I guess touching base on this.
I hear when it comes to retrieval, you're the one to hire.
First switch. This could be, the first door that leads further into the caves. And then we get our first look at the bear. So this is the cave bear that is waiting down in the little trench. You can jump across the gap, but if you choose to fall down and get, there's like a small med pack, a couple bats down there, you get to fight your first bear if you want. And so that this is such a closed off space, and just based on the look of this bear, oh man, he looks so fierce. He looks so dangerous. And obviously being isolated for so long in this cave, in this cavern structure, you can imagine how hungry he is. You can imagine how ravaged and feral he is. Just wanting to get a piece of, get himself a little bit of Miss Croft here.
This isn't about glory or money or making the world a better place.
That's quite interesting. I love this introduction of this new puzzle system that we had with the reflection of the light here. I'm not quite sure what section this could be. Obviously, it's an Egypt section. Could very well be part of city of Kamun, maybe Obelisk as well. So you have City of Kamun, and then you have Obelisk of Kamun that go one right after the other. And yeah, based on what I'm looking at here, this could very well be one of those two. Maybe further into the Egypt section. I'm not entirely sure. And I really wish, see, these blocks are very obscure. Could possibly be Obelisk. Maybe they just changed the puzzle a little bit based on these symbols. You have the sun and you have the moon. I don't remember there being a sun or moon puzzle in the first game, but who knows? Maybe they switched the puzzle around a little bit.
We're making the world a better place. This is a puzzle. Buried in centuries of silence.
Right off the rip here. I'm definitely getting big Lost Valley vibes with the cog system. I love how they've obviously changed the cog system around. You can see how big and vast these cogs are. She's not putting those cogs in her backpack anytime soon with how big they are.
Buried in
kicking them down into the water, putting them together, and then finally using them to reveal the entrance to the Tomb of Qualopec after everything fits into place. So that's a very awesome take on the cog puzzle there.
Strike me as someone who walks past a locked door without wondering what's behind it.
That door, see, now that door could very well be the entrance to Vilca, the city of Vilca Kamba, but it could also be the entrance to the Tomb of Qualopec. I'm not entirely sure. I feel like if it was the city of Vilca entrance, there would probably still be some snow. And then, of course, we get the big reveal. Jacqueline Natla has finally shown herself in this game, given Lara the rundown on what she expects from her.
Reason I can only trust you with this.
She looks good. She looks very serious. She looks like she means some serious business. Very, very slender look, wearing her suits. But based on this stare and, based on how she's speaking to Lara, she's just 100% business. She knows what she wants, and she'll do whatever it takes to get what she wants and use whoever she needs to use by any means necessary. I really like this. I really like this Natla design. This enemy's interesting. I wasn't quite sure if they went back with Bald Pierre, but I'm going to go ahead and say that based on
I can only trust you with this.
Based on this guy's vest, see right here. This is why I'm made to believe that this is the bald shotgun guy. He's got the slugs on his chest there, on his vest there. This, without a doubt, is either Bald Pierre or one of the goons. And I'm leaning more towards this being the bald shotgun guy that you see, as well as the cowboy and skateboard kid. So those two will be interesting to see as well. Because in Tomb Raider 1, you don't really get that many human enemies. Most of what you're fighting are animals or Atlanteans as you get further into the game. But based on these garbs here, I'm going to assume that this is just a grunt of some sort. But he's got those shotgun slugs, and that makes me want to believe that this is the shotgun thug that you deal with in Natla's mines, I want to say. Yeah. So, and then, you got these boxes and crates. Obviously, that's not exactly an ancient box. You know what I mean? So these could very well be crates from Natla and, her henchmen, trying to dig through the mines. But if it is the mines, this is obviously a very, very nice warmer tone compared to those grays and that rocky, those rocky walls, and that just seems so endless in the first game. Natla's Mines was not one of my favorite levels from both a casual standpoint and from a speedrunning standpoint. Casually, it just felt like dragged on while you were trying to get your weapons and everything. Speedrunning wise, it's a little bit kind of a little bit of a speed bump within the run. So, but overall, pretty good little section there. Kind of paused. Ooh, let me go right back to the start of this valley cutscene here. It seems like we're getting a lot of, real quick, I'm just going to back up there. Seems like when it comes to the T-Rex, we're getting a lot of evasion seems from both trailers, the one from the Game Awards and the one from this State of Play. We're seeing Lara just kind of running away a lot from this T-Rex, which I believe is a Allosaurus, I want to say. It's not a traditional Tyrannosaurus Rex, but regardless, so we still call it the T-Rex. We still call it the big, the king of the dinosaurs, you know what I mean? So, but we don't really see her fight this dinosaur all that much. She's pretty much just kind of running for her life at this point. And I mean, at this point, I don't blame her, so. But I love that. I love that little animation right there. It's definitely giving those platforming Uncharted vibes of just really cool, evasive animations of just running away from peril. Obviously Tomb Raider and Uncharted share their similarities as far as exploration and, adventure and action as well. But obviously Tomb Raider was the Uncharted before Uncharted, as far as navigation and platforming and combat was concerned. So, but yeah, that's awesome watching her dodge the mouth of the T-Rex there. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how she fights the dinosaur. Obviously, she's got to fight the dinosaur, right? Like she can't just run away. You got to stand tall. You got to stand tall and fight and see how you take it out. Same with the velociraptors as well. Go ahead and back that up real quick. It's looking like this obviously is the end of one of the temples based on, I'm going to go ahead and say Coatepec. We are getting some of these, how do I say, almost kind of Aztecian structures here. I could be wrong with the lineage of these. Feel free to correct me in the comments if you'd like. But these poles, these pillars right here and how they're designed are very similar to some of the structures that you see in the first game, especially in the Tomb of Coatepec level, when you're going through the chamber before you go up and collect the piece of the Skion. You do see pillars that look very similar to this. So I'm going to assume that this is still within the Peru section. I'm going to assume that this is still within the Coatepec area, and you can't really make it out there, but obviously this could very well be one of the rulers of Atlantis, Coatepec, Tehokan. But I'm leaning more towards Coatepec holding that piece of the Skion, but you just can't quite make it out if that is if that's what they are holding there. But still, great shot of the end of one of the tombs regardless. For some reason I really love this shot. I was super stoked about this shot. This one made me super excited. Like even just showing love to the panthers, the pumas, panthers. I'm not quite sure. I'm gonna go with panther. But when you get to the Egypt section, and you can kind of see that we are in fact in the Egypt section with the murals here. One of the first encounters that you have once you enter Egypt is with the panthers. So for it to just get its own little short cinematic and just show the detail of one of the many enemies that you're fighting, I just love that. I love that so much. Oh man, I forgot how much. Oh, yep, we saw Larson there. I forgot how much there was to unpack. I'm just gonna try and break down this underwater section. I'm not quite sure where this would be. Obviously, there's quite a few underwater sections. I'm gonna assume that this is an underwater section in Greece. Looking at a bit of the statue, looking at these statues here, the feathering on the helmets here, obviously the swords, the spears. I'm gonna assume that we're in a swimming section of Greece. Could be the beginning of Colosseum, obviously with these pillars. Yeah, can't exactly make out what level or section this, Greece, obviously, but what level this would be. But I can assume that this is Greece, so Colosseum, certainly not cistern, I don't think. Yeah, it wouldn't be the cistern. Palace Midas, perhaps. Yeah, we'll have to wait till the game drops to see where exactly this is. But yeah, it's definitely giving Greece for sure. And again, yeah, so we got a nice shot right there. Yeah, lots of what appears to be Greek architecture. Could very well be the beginning of St. Francis Folly, possibly? Because this is still outside. This is so interesting. And again, because you have most of Tomb Raider 1, if not all of it, because of the graphic limitations really kept you inside. They really kept you closed off from the rest of the world. So seeing all of these sections just open up and just seeing how vast these areas are. I know I've said vast like so many times, but these areas are so vast. But yeah, definitely what appears to be some Greek architecture here. Dude, the water looks so good. Can't tell if this is a cinematic or actual gameplay. Yeah, swimming right there looked like actual gameplay. That could very well be actual gameplay. Oh man, there's just so much happening all at once. I'm just trying to break down every single section, guys. Yeah, again, I'm not entirely sure. Could be the beginning of Folly. Could be part of Palace Midas. Maybe that's part of it. I'm not entirely sure. Certainly not Colosseum, I don't think. And then the last section of Greece, I believe, being the Tomb of Tehoken. Certainly not that, but you never know. You never know. Either way, I'm really loving this shot. I wish I could just explore every little section. I really hope we can. I hope I can go all the way over there. I hope I can go in there. Even up here, man. Let me go up there too. Oh, this looks like so much fun. Get another look at the combat. This has to be Palace Midas. This has to be Palace Midas. Golden structures. I mean, look at the foliage on the pillars here. You definitely see that a lot in Palace Midas. You see the gate here as well. Could have some beasts behind it, maybe some lions, gorillas, that sort of thing. Hungry animals that haven't seen a snack in quite some time. Man, this is just such a good shot. Yeah, I'm gonna say that this is probably Palace Midas. Oh wait, is his hand missing? Did his hand? Oh yeah, right there. Look, right there. The hand of Midas. I almost missed that. I did not see that. Oh, wait, you guys probably can't see. Oh, can't see it because it's right behind me. There you go. Actually, let me lean more this way. Perfect. There it is. Hopefully I wasn't blocking too much while watching this, but that's awesome. Yeah, so hand of Midas right there. That'd be so cool if you can go up and touch it and turn to gold, just like you can in the original game. This is giving possibly escaping from the first Peru section. Yeah, a bit of a cooler theme here. You got the water. Looks like there's some bright white right there. And then, of course, we get the reveal. Larson finally showing himself.
Gotta say,
his voice actor sounds so good. And then there's the throwback with the magazine.
Gotta say, captured your good side.
If you're a Tomb Raider nerd like me, the magazine that Larson puts down at the very beginning of the game, the opening cutscene when we first are introduced to her, where he says, "What's a man got to do to get that kind of attention from you?" It is a magazine about her taking care of Bigfoot. So, did Lara come face to face with another legend? Lost Islands, hidden signals, and unanswered questions. Foreshadowing some of the DLC, unanswered questions, unfinished business, Rebel's Adventures, Curtis Trent, which I think I never finished Angel of Darkness, but I think Curtis Trent is a character in that game. Again, more running from the
You're assuming I've got a bad side.
running from the T-Rex here. And there it is. Reveal date, February 12th, 2027. I thought we were going to get this game in 2026. But regardless, there is a release date finally, February 12th, 2027. I'm not sure if Catalyst is going to come out before or come out after. I'm going to assume Catalyst will probably come out after. I'm sure that game they're taking their sweet time developing that. Obviously, they have a lot of source material from 3 versions of the first game to source some material off of, but I'm really excited, man. Overall, that was an amazing reveal. That was an amazing trailer. We got so much more detail because during the Game Awards trailer, we got to see some caves. I think we got to see a little bit of Vilcacamba, and then obviously, you know, we got to see the reveal of the dinosaurs in Lost Valley and see how Lara looks. The unified Lara design, by the way, showcasing her holding that, wearing that green necklace as well. I've never played the Survivor trilogy games. I have them on Steam. I definitely need to, but I know that comes from those games, I believe. So yeah, connecting that timeline with her badass Atlantean timeline as well. So, but hey man, I'm super stoked for this game. Like I said, it's one of my most anticipated games of now 2027. I thought it was going to be one of my most anticipated games of 2026, but regardless, I'm excited to see a release date. And that was a great trailer, man. That was a great trailer. It definitely gave us a lot more detail than the Game Awards one. Obviously, the Game Awards one was a great reveal, and you know, I was super stoked that we were getting some classic Tomb Raider re-envisioned once again. But thank you guys for watching, man. That was a great breakdown. I've never done something like this before. If you guys want to see more things like that, feel free to let me know. I hope you guys are excited for Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis and Catalyst as much as I am. Tomb Raider has always been a very big part of my life. You know, it's one of the first video games I ever played, and definitely one of those games that, you know, I don't know who I'd be as a video game player without it. So thank you guys again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.